All right, here with Loudoun Valley head basketball coach Chad Dawson. His team a winner in a thriller 71-68 over Phoebus in a matchup of state title contenders. The defending 4A state champs win it in overtime here at the VirginiaPreps.com Basketball Classic 10th Annual. Coach, you had to sweat this one out to the very end against a very athletic, talented Phoebus team. You guys have seen some good competition playing Martinsburg out of West Virginia, Conway out of South Carolina, and no different tonight, and I think you battled through adversity at the end.
Yes, we definitely did. That's exactly what I told the kids. We didn't have a great offensive shooting night, but they battled a lot of adversity, and we made some mental errors that we don't normally make. So I was very proud of the young men.
I was anticipating coming into tonight, I just told you a minute ago, that we would talk about some of the other guys besides Jordan Miller because he gets so much attention, and understandably so. He's a state player. You're going to George Mason. Those guys being Jalen Williams, who had 10 threes last night, a school record, Mark Melbourne, Dominique Peterson, and others. But Jordan Miller, 33 points, second most in event history, 13 rebounds, and he had 4 steals.
He's a great player, and you know that. I mean, he is and he's a great teammate, and I think that's what makes him special. And last night, you were talking about some of our other players. Dom comes over, and he'd been hit in the mouth, and he's bleeding in his mouth, and he's like, Coach, Jalen's got 6 threes in a row. We got to leave him in, you know. And so that's the camaraderie that those guys specifically have because they've played together for a while.
Well, he sets a school record in threes. Jalen doesn't have a 3 tonight, but he gets 5 assists and 3 steals. Dominique Peterson picks it up with 4 threes, including one that was about 6 feet behind the arc in the first half free. So those guys still contributed, even though they didn't have maybe their typical 3-point night or scoring night or whatever it might be.
Correct. They definitely contribute in other ways. And we take Jalen for granted a lot of times because he's such a great lockdown defender. And like you had mentioned, Phoebus is such an athletic and talented and very well coached team, and so that presented a lot of problems. And I think they were concerned about matchup problems, and so were we with them. But Jalen did a good job on his man tonight.
You come down to Tidewater, a 4+ hour bus ride trip. You play a really good team. You didn't have your typical night. You get out rebounded by 20. You had some late game execution. I know you're not probably proud of,
right.
But you still win. Are there more pros of that? There's some things you got to work. How do you kind of assess it as a coaching staff?
I think it's a great experience for us. Anytime when you have to battle through, especially overtime and foul trouble and fatigue and those types of things, because it's not always going to be exactly like you would like to draw it up. And I'm very proud of the kids' effort and mental toughness.
It had some similarities, I think, and I watched a little bit of this game on film, your Battlefield game that you guys had, and the way it went down to the wire with them. Did you sense that too? Or?
Yes, I mean we were starting out slowly. Then we've started out a little bit better recently. You know, we're trying to get to where we should be at this time of year, and I think we're really close. But yeah, the kids they don't get frustrated, or they don't get too frustrated, I would say, and down on themselves, and they're able to compete through.
A couple more, thank you for your time. We've seen this with the defending state championship teams that are expected to compete or win it again in other divisions in years past, be it Colonial Forge in Class 6, Norcom in Class 4, Class 3, Henrico, others, Potomac, that the expectations are raised and you got that bullseye and you got a lot of pieces back. How have you guys with your players talked about some of the challenges that you will see, the obstacles that you will see on that journey to trying to win it again?
One of the things we try to do is we try to have them keep a team notebook, and I think it's a really good piece for them, and they have to come up with their own quotes of the day for practice, and we spontaneously ask them, you know, what the quote is in the middle of practice or at the end of practice or beginning of practice. I think that's done a lot of good for our team to, you know, put the mental focus on something besides just how they play, and then trying to, when we do get the opportunity to compete, then we try to turn it up at that point. But we have such great senior leadership with Dom, Jalen, and Jordan. They do the bulk of that heavy lifting, getting us ready to play.
Have you chatted with them much about leaving the legacy of, there's a lot of teams that win a state championship, but winning 2 is a different rarefied air in terms of, okay, this isn't the exact same team from last year. You don't have Deron Norris and Nick Ball. You do have Mark Melbourne now. And what it would mean to win a second one. Have you guys talked about legacy stuff or not a whole lot?
Yeah, we have a little bit. You know, I mean, this group I think now is something like 72-3 since they were sophomores, and
not too shabby.
And we're very fortunate to coach them. But I think, you know, Jordan's probably going to be the all-time leading scorer. He could be the all-time leading scorer in Loudoun County. They're definitely individual things, but they can't take the place of the team goals, and they're definitely focused, I think, on repeating.
Well, hey, a great performance today in overtime, and the march to march is on. Thanks so much.
Thank you.